This is Abigail Barella with Sparkle and Shine Guidance, and this is your full moon, full harvest moon, full Friday the 13th, full harvest Friday the 13th moon in Pisces. And Pisces is the deepest of the ocean archetype of the zodiac. And so when we have a full moon in Pisces, I put my phone on airplane mode so none of them calls come through. But really, it brings out the subconscious, it brings out the craziest of the crazy, and it also brings out the crises of the things that we haven't been wanting to look at. That all come into consciousness. So whenever I invite people to work with me and they're too busy or they have too much going on, it's around the full moon in September where my phone's off the hook, and so I just don't answer any of those calls because we really want to work with things before they get to crisis mode. I'm not saying that there's not need for that, but that's when you need to call in some extra support, like call in like something else that's right at that moment that you need. But when we're talking about this Pisces full moon, it is a really important time to, since it's the harvest moon, it's the time to gather in all the lessons that you've learned through this last year. With the sun in Virgo, we're able to get really healthy and really honest with ourselves about where we've kind of led ourselves astray, where we've not been sticking to the health routines that we want, where we've not been sticking to the day-to-day routines that we need, where we've been going unconscious through our phones, through social media, through TV, through partnerships, through friendships, and we have to get really honest with ourselves. And that's hard sometimes, and sometimes that comes through a crisis. And hopefully it doesn't, right? But we have a couple different things that I want to talk about. One of them is, let's talk for a minute about Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. So the ruler of Pisces is Neptune, and Neptune is the archetype where this full moon is at. And Neptune is the ruler of the seas, the deep seas. And he has to do with our dream time. He has to do with the collective consciousness and the secrets that we're all connected, the secrets that we're actually all working towards the same goal, but we've forgotten. And the secrets that the unity, the all one consciousness. So that's why people who sit in prolonged meditation, fast, do drugs, ayahuasca, like all the things, that's what they're seeking to feel, is that all one consciousness. But guess what? You don't have to go to extremes to feel that. It's really can be part of your daily routine to check in with that part of yourself. And looking at what house your Neptune is in is going to help you to understand how to tap into that. So Neptune's activated at this full moon, which means our dream time is going to be more important to pay attention to. Even though at full moons, we typically tend to have a harder time sleeping, and that this is no exception to that, because Virgo is the overactive analytical mind, very mercurial. And so you might have trouble sleeping, but do try to rest more than you think you might need during this time. Virgo also has to do with our physical health. So if you're ignoring your needs for rest, then you might find that you're sick and forced into bed, and those kind of things. So Neptune's really active for this full moon, obviously, because so that's where the need to rest comes from, because it is in Pisces, and the ruler of Pisces is Neptune. We say that Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, the higher octave of love and desire. It's like not that it's not the pretty love. It's not the romantic love. It's not the sensuality and when things are fresh and new love. It's like, hey, can you hang when things get real not so pretty? Are you going to run away from people when things get really difficult? Are you going to be able to be that support for people when they need it? And not in a way that is going to put you out, but in a way that's like long-term relationships, long-term friendships. Like, who are your for real friends? Who is your for real people? And who is just those fair weather friends? And so this Pisces moon tends to also activate that and bring that into consciousness. And we also have a trine to Pluto. So we have a lot of things happening, but let me talk about this trine to Pluto first, because to me it's huge, because they're both in earth signs. We have the sun in Virgo trining Pluto over there in Capricorn, and Pluto in Capricorn is at 20 degrees. This full moon is at 21 degrees. So it's a very close trine, and what that's telling us is that the work in the future around Pluto doing this conjunction with Saturn that we'll have in January 2020, the work is starting now. Like it's starting. And this isn't a surprise. I've been talking about this. If you guys have watched any of my other videos about, this is our work. This is what we have to do. And things might feel out of your control, and they might feel unsafe, or they might feel like things are happening that are out of your control. And that's the point, especially when the sun is in Virgo. We want to control things. We want to control our day. We want to control our routines. And Pluto's saying, you can't always control things. Like here's some out of your control thing, and let's see how you deal with that. And why Pluto does that is because it shows us not the superficial power, it shows us the deep innate power that comes from down here. And it's really about understanding that you can make the best decisions in your life, but there are going to be forces that are out of your control that are going to bring you to your knees. And the only reason they bring you to your knees is for you to see your own power to stand back up. And how you're going to stand back up, how quick you're going to stand back up, and where you're going to go once you stand back up. Okay? So when we have this trine to Pluto, Pluto's really telling us that this Pluto in Capricorn is no joke, and the things that come forward right now from this time to the full moon and beyond, it's showing you where your work is. It's showing you where you're being asked to step the fuck up, and it's so uncomfortable. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's not. I have things going on that are totally personal and not for here, but are totally out of my control, and talk about witch trials, you know what I'm saying? So we just are being forced to step up and step in, okay? And it's how you do that that's going to show you how far you're going to be able to go in this lifetime, right? And so, again, looking to your natal placement of Pluto, what house is it in? What house is your Pluto in? It's going to give you information about what's going on here. Okay, and then we have Neptune, which I just talked about. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. It's opposite directly, exact at 17 degrees opposite Mars. And Mars is our action, the law of action. It's like warrior spirit. And Mars is over there in Virgo, and Neptune is in Pisces. And this is telling us, oh, I am balancing on a log right now. You guys might not know that, but yeah, I am, and I almost fell over. This is telling us, let me see, I lost my focus, and then this happens. That's what muscle testing is all about, you guys. When you're like, you know, when you're in your power, your muscles are all doing their thing, and then as soon as you lose some of your power, you're like, whoa, I'm gonna fall over. But you don't fall over, okay? And that was just a lesson. I threw that in there for you guys. Mars is about action. Neptune is about not doing anything. And this is where the aligned hustle comes in. I was just talking to a friend about the aligned hustle. Some people say, oh, you just have to align yourself and then everything comes to you so easily. And then other people are like, you gotta work for that. Like, you gotta get out there on the streets and hustle. And I'm all about that aligned hustle. Like, when you're like checking in, you do your morning meditation, I'm like, what does my business need from me today? What does my body need from me today? What do my children need from me today? You ask, and then once it's given, you do the thing. You do it, and you do it well, you know? So that's what I'll have to say about this opposition between Mars and Neptune is, it's no more joking around. Like, we got to get to work, okay? And there's a lot that we need to work on. So that's that. You know, this Jupiter square with Neptune, that's going to be exact September 21st, which is kind of interesting, right? Because this full moon is on the 21st degree. And then we have that exact square between Neptune and Jupiter, which they've been doing this dance. This is the third time that they'll square this year. And you want to know what houses that's happening in? Thankfully, I have a whole other video about that, and I'm running out of time, so I need to wrap it up. I have a whole other video on that, but this is serious. It's the day before the equinox. The harvest moon is the closest full moon to the equinox. So we are in this equinox energy starting at this full moon, the harvest moon, and it's all about seeking that balance, how you're going to rebalance your life, what's asking for you, what's totally like lopsided right now, kind of like this video, and what do you need to like straighten back out, you know? How do you get that balance back into your life? And so look to the houses for Jupiter and Neptune. What houses is Sagittarius and Capricorn? No, that's something else. Sagittarius and Pisces, those two houses, okay? That's going to show you this square that's causing conflict, but it's showing you how to bring that balance in, okay? Yeah, so that's what's happening out there. And this full moon is an opportunity to really check in with your subconscious. Check in with your most important superconscious, your connection to all. And you know, we came here to do some big work. And a lot of times that happens when we tune off from our devices, when we get out in nature and we align, and then we come at it that way. We hustle that way, you know what I'm saying? So do not feel bad about tapping out. Do not feel bad about taking a break. Do not feel bad about sleeping more. Do not feel bad about resting. Do not feel bad. Just do the thing that you need to do so that you can keep showing up here. Have a great day. If you want to work with me, guess what? Planetary Power starts next month. 7 weeks with me. We get to journey together through your whole chart. Well, 7 planets, okay? We do the sun, the moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. And we figure out where they are in your chart. What days of the week are most powerful for you? How can you tune into these energies to strengthen your life, to really show up bigger and shine brighter? It's very practical work. I don't know why people don't get that. But anyway, if you don't get that, this isn't the program for you. It's okay. But check it out if you are interested. And then also my planner. My planner is going to be shipped out in December. You want to do your pre-order now, though, so that I make sure I print enough copies. And this planner is really for right-brain people who are into the astrology, want to know when things are happening and how to plan. Also, I'll have a moon cycle calendar to show you when the new and the full moons are so that you can look at where it is in your chart. I have a little spot for you to put your chart in the beginning of the book. And definitely check that out. Link is below as well. I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful full moon.